Hey guys, it's Byron here and welcome to BSSE Productions. Wow, it actually seems like quite a long time since I've uploaded on this channel, but today I am going to be changing that by doing a video of my top 3 tips about filmmaking. I've learned quite a few new things since I started college doing subjects like film studies and creative writing, and these have really played a large part in teaching me these tips myself. But that said, I hope you enjoy. So the first piece of advice I want to give is just to never let having a low budget or not many resources stop you and limit your creativity. Because honestly, creativity and your artistic vision with something isn't something that should be limited, and it's very easy to feel that you don't have a lot of stuff to use, so you need to kind of restrict your ideas. Because let's say you want to make a film with a really elaborate action scene or something, and you think, I'll never be able to pull that off, I just don't have the money, or something along those lines. That isn't really very good, and I think that you should have in mind what you want to make and somehow just make it happen, because I think when you do that, that is a real test of how creative you are. And I think I do believe that if you have a good enough idea and you really want to make it, regardless of the limitations, you will somehow make it happen. And I've had this opinion for a long time, but it was really showcased the other day in my creative writing lesson, because if you've seen my latest short film called Shut In, I basically, for a piece of coursework for creative writing, changed it a bit and made that into a slightly different script, adding a few other characters to it and stuff. But basically, when I handed it in to my creative writing teacher, her criticism to it was basically that in the script itself, it felt low budget and it felt like I was really restricting myself, and she wanted it to go a lot more off the rails. And I found that really interesting, because it was like, it's like, even though I'm really proud of that film, I can see why she thought like I was limiting myself, because I did make it with in my mind not having much to work with, and maybe that wasn't the best approach. Another good example is, if you've seen my other YouTube channel, Byron's Reviews, you may know that I'm a huge fan of the film production company The Asylum, who makes very low budget films, and they have a very bizarre belief that these films have a much bigger budget than they actually do. Like, even though they'll have like a $1 million budget, for instance, which with film, in the grand scheme of things, really isn't a lot. Even though they'll have that budget, it's like they'll have in their mind that they're making a $200 million budget film. And it's so interesting to see how they pull it off. Like, how they pull off something that is normally done with a very high budget with such a low budget, but they do pull it off. So it really is possible. Just have in mind what you want to do and somehow make it happen. It may be an overly optimistic attitude, but I believe strongly in it. Now, the second piece of advice I'd give is to just do it. Let the Shia LaBeouf memes commence. What I mean by this is that I think it's so easy to feel fazed by the idea of making a film, to the extent that you never actually make it. For instance, you may get really het up in the planning of it, wanting to plan it to great detail, to the extent that you're kind of a bit stunned by it and you never actually make the film. Or maybe you want to create like something really original, and because of that you can't justify making something that isn't that original, or it's a bit generic. But I think if you're a filmmaker who's learning how to make films, a bit like I am, you should just make films, whatever they are, and just don't get too het up in planning them. Obviously plan them, but just not to the extent that you get fazed by it and you don't actually make these films. It's something I think I need to really learn, because I don't put out as many short films as I probably should, seeing as film is a potential career I really want to go into. And the reason for that is the reasons I've stated. I'll start planning something, get really fazed by the idea and never make it. Or when I'm thinking of an idea for a film, I will only make it if it's really original. And obviously, those great ideas only come about every once in a while, so that won't happen every day. So I think I just need to make more films, whatever they are. And I'm going to try and do that from now on. I'm going to just get out there and make more films and just do it. And now the third piece of advice I'd like to give is that there is no right or wrong way of doing things. Now, I'm doing film studies at the moment, and I'm being taught like all the different shots, all the different elements of film, and they're the conventional like rules, if you like, of making films. And they're probably the most popular ones, well, they are, and they're the ones that maybe for most people work best. But that doesn't mean that the only ways of making films, or even the right ways of making film. They're just ways, and there are many other ways. So if you want to break the rules, or if you want to do something that doesn't necessarily fit into these conventions, absolutely do it, because really art is all about breaking rules, because that is really how we progress. Because at the end of the day, like most things, film is subjective. And while people may have certain opinions about films, like I'm very opinionated about them, there is no inherently good film or inherently bad film, or an inherently right way to go about making films, or an inherently wrong way. So all in all, make the films you want to make, however conventional they may be, or not conventional in this case. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Do you have any opinions on the things I've just said, or do you agree or disagree with me? If so, please leave those thoughts in the comments. And also, what are your top 3 pieces of advice about filmmaking? Because, like I'm sure many of you are, I'm just an aspiring filmmaker myself. I'm not claiming to be any sort of expert, so I think I'd be able to learn a lot from you guys too. But until next time, I will see you later. Bye! Oh, crap. You've gotta love it when your phone rings in the middle of filming. Ah, good time.